Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Space Weather. I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho. Today we'll be talking about Sunspot 2775, which is a sunspot no more, so bye-bye. There's an active region rising. There's a filament. We'll be even talking about Twitter. Oh my god. First we're going to look at the sun here. Don't get blinded, use the proper instruments like the SDO. Major filaments over there on the western side, both in the north and around the equator. Back to zero sunspots today. No coronal mass ejections or anything like that, and an active region rising in the east, just south of the equator. Here's the colorized magnetogram. And let's do some custom HelioViewer movies. Here is a close-up of former Sunspot 2775's magnetic fields. That is a northern polarity in the leading part and a southern polarity in the trailing part. It's been a cycle 25 sunspot, but now it's decayed to a plage. Here's a close-up of the active region rising here in 171 angstroms. So a little bit of activity there. Don't be surprised to see a small uptick in the X-ray flux as a result of that. And it all has to do with the shape of those regions, the shape of the, I'll say, magnetic flux ropes suspended above those active regions. And here's this filament in the northwest, at least part of it. And there's a little bit of a dance going on there. It's not a spaceship, it's not an alien, and it's not a space snake. It's ionized iron is what you're seeing in 171 angstroms. It's the UV emission spectra of, I believe it's iron 18. The 10.7 centimeter radio flux is at 74. And for those new viewers out there, thanks for tuning in. If you weren't aware, the radio flux is similar to sunspot number. Don't be such an enthusiast that you have two dashboards open. KP index, a measurement of global geomagnetism, is currently at 1, having been only at 1 or 0 for the past 4 days. And we've actually already seen that little increase in the X-ray flux. Don't be surprised to see some flares. Not sure whether that active region is a sunspot or not. My first guess would be probably no. But it's way too early to say, so there's no reason to even conjecture. We don't see any proton strikes. We've put that on there in preparation for things like solar maximum. And we just show it daily so that our viewers are used to it. Next, looking at the real-time solar wind here. And we see a pretty weak solar wind. Very low solar wind speed at only 300 kilometers a second right now. Solar wind density around 7.7. BTBZ has just gone well into the positive there. An indication that my forecast from yesterday was probably correct. And just bear with me a minute while this loads. We are streaming live. And if you haven't checked it out, it's twitch.tv/smAsho. It's where we typically do the daily space weather videos. Because the platform is so good, we figure we might as well stream it because a lot of the data is basically real time for these playlists. Anyway, there's 4 hours of data on the magnetosphere. Nothing too exciting happening there as we have a fairly normal solar wind density and a very slow solar wind velocity. And next we'll look at ground magnetic perturbations. And this is a measure of the Earth's B field. And when we say delta B, we're talking about changes in the Earth's B field measured in nanotesla. And you can see the scale down there on the lower right. That's 4 hours of data courtesy University of Michigan. During this polar excursion, main perturbations appear to be over Canada and Antarctica. And I think there might be some sort of an annual pattern to this, actually. Please leave a comment if you've noted one by viewing our videos. Here's the data from the GOES magnetometer. It's the GOES 16, and it's measuring the magnetism at around the ionosphere layer It's endeavoring to do it at the F2 layer, depending on what time of day it is, of course. And again, for you new viewers out there, the N's and M's mean noon and midnight time for the satellite. Next, looking at the Gong 2 data, it'll probably show us that we are solidly in the North Pole current sheet, as I've forecasted. And it looks like we're in a moment of indecision. The Earth's field force lines there shown in orange. I say we're in the North Pole current sheet. The data is 1 hour and 42 minutes old. And keep in mind the magnetic environment can suddenly change with little to no warning. Here's the line of sight field plot. And let's see if we see any pull-ups of this B field as I've forecasted. Not yet. Another indication that the sunspot has weakened. And indeed, it's not even a sunspot anymore. We'll be having our eye on that rising region in the southeast. Next, looking at the coronal magnetic field plot. And we see some odd coronal hole potential field force lines there associated with the South Pole. Kind of strange there. I may have to look deeper into this one at a later time. And today's Smash Light segment is going to be very shortened. It won't be separate. We did a cosmology segment video before this, which will actually air after this. If you haven't checked out our playlists, please do so. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, please do so. Twitter.com/smashamash. Today's Smash Lights are only going to be two things. So today, we're going to be citing a tweet from Senator Rand Paul. And I quote, "Democrats seem to think all justices are politicians, and so they want a politician that'll vote for their cases instead of a justice that will adhere to the law. Some of us are concerned about upholding the Constitution. Others view the Constitution as an obstacle to their power. Which side do you lie on? Leave a comment." Last but not least, another tweet which I've retweeted here at the Smash News Network. Allow me to quote Peter Schiff, my favorite economist. "A Senate confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett is not a threat to individual rights. If she helps enforce the Constitution as written, liberty will be restored. The threat is to special privileges granted to some at the expense of others. Barrett is a threat to tyranny, not liberty." Again, it's twitter.com/smashamash. And we put exclusive content on all our different social medias a little bit. Let's talk COVID. COVID. You are so busted. By the way, if you'd like to get yourself a UV wand where you can go out and sterilize the world like this, just head to smashomash.com/affiliate and get yourself one. I think they're like $25. You can go out and sterilize the world, folks, because it's so dangerous out there that you're walking around with a diaper on your face like a complete COVIDiot. By the way, to have appropriate ventilation, you need to exchange the air in a room about 9 times. You can buy a carbon dioxide monitor, by the way. They cost about $100. Perhaps we'll consider offering one of those at a later time. Now, some of us would prefer carbon dioxide levels to be at 1,200 or 1,500 parts per million. Other people are very worried about it being over 400 parts per million, a ridiculous notion. But in any case, it's all about fresh air. And one of the ways we measure fresh air in a building, especially a heavily populated building, is to measure the CO2. You want to have it 800 parts per million or less. That would be what you'd call a therapeutic amount of oxygen, most likely. So in any case, run a fan, put a fan in your window, give yourself air changes sometimes. Don't breathe stagnant air all day. The more insulated your house is, the higher your CO2 levels might be. So give yourself an occasional air change. Plants need oxygen too. And so today we did a cosmology segment. Once again, check out our playlists. If you haven't done so, youtube.com/smashamash/playlists has various different features there. And we talked about a bunch of different things regarding cosmology. We didn't exactly specifically mention a vibrational
lattice.
However, A vibrational
lattice
isn't no lettuce. A vibrational lattice is responsible for things like stellar spectra and solar spectra, and they're the reason why sunspots appear dark. So again, check out that cosmology segment. Check us out on Minds. Minds.com, I do believe, is the future of social media, in that there's a lot of censorship and nonsense by big tech oligarchs, and there needs to be a market for social media. Minds.com/smAsho. You'll see exclusive content as we released our reach around meme, as well as our overreach meme yesterday on Minds before any place else, and we didn't release it till today on other spots. Again, we are streaming live to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/smAshomash. Please press like and subscribe on YouTube. Otherwise, the Smash News Network could start on fire, and we really wouldn't want that. That would be a complete disaster. You would never want the place to be on fire. Goodness graciousness, no. Goodness graciousness. You would certainly not want the place on fire. That would be bad times. Also, check us out on BitChute, bitchute.com/smAshomash. There are some exclusive videos there, too. And it all has to do with, again, creating a market in social media, because we don't want to see monopolies, because monopolies cause high prices and low quality. Thanks to our new subs over at BitChute. And here ends today's Smashed Lights. It was truncated. Let's get back to space, talking about electrons. Ain't talking about love, 'cause I'm talking about electrons. There's the 1-year graph of the relativistic electron flux. We don't see any charging hazards as the electron flux has cratered, and NOAA is forecasting it to level out. There's a 3-day graph. Here's a visualization, and you should have pretty... Oh, we see some electron anomalies here over North America. Check it out. As well as over the Northeast, we see some nighttime charge-ups, where you could have big errors there. Check it out. I'll let it play through a second time. Watch North America. And you see some anomalies there over Canada, and then indeed over my head. I'm located in eastern Pennsylvania. For all you noobs out there who haven't viewed our videos before, holla. Leave us a comment. Tell us where you're located. Perhaps we'll give you a custom forecast. Here's one layer. This is the total air column. This is just the ionosphere. This one's courtesy of Australian Government Bureau Meteorology. And the ionosphere was looking a little bit anomalous yesterday, and once again today, heavily charged up in the south. And are you enjoying spring, you southern hemispheric viewers? Fall has been lovely so far here in the northern hemisphere, at least from my location. And I always like to know what's going on above my head, so I use in-the-sky.org. I make a sky chart, as I'm always interested in things like when Deneb will set. Where were you when Deneb set? Do you know anything about it? It's just the most intrinsically luminous object visible from Earth. That's all. It has a disputed distance of between 1,800 and 37,000 light years. And it's been sending protons through your brain probably throughout your entire life if you live in the northern hemisphere. If you're up before dawn, you might be able to see Mars, the Moon, and Venus all at once. By the way, we're seeing our closest approach to Mars until the year 2035, and it's making for some great, great imagery. This one by Andrea Monero of Padova, Italy. Check out how cloudy Mars is right now. And look at the big icy area there on the northern, whichever pole. I don't know which pole it is. It's all polarity. Holy crow, it's a pole. What's in your pole? Here's what's in our solar system. There's where things will be in a week. And we see some earthquakes kicking off here on Western South America, especially. Let's roll up the list. Roll out the list. We'll report on earthquakes. Here's a 4.9 at Papua New Guinea. That one's at depth, over 100 kilometers. There's one nearly 100 kilometers of a similar magnitude at the Philippines, only about half an hour later. Here's a very shallow quake at Hawaii. Let's see where it happened. It's near Volcano, and that's the town of Volcano, meaning it's a Kilauean magmatic quake, 3,000 feet plus above sea level. There's a location of that. It's a Kilauean earthquake associated with magmatic activity, almost certainly. I think that might have been the largest of the past 24. It's a deep quake at Peru. Don't expect the shaking to stop there. That one came in at 255 today. Here's a deep quake at Vanuatu also. It's a 4.9 at 210 kilometers. Another deep quake south of that 5.0. It's a 4.4 at 106 kilometers. Another deep quake at Chile, nearly 100 kilometers. A deep quake by the Tajikistan border. A deep quake at Peru, a little bit north of that 5.0 magnitude. And a deep quake in the Dominican Republic. It's only a 3.7 magnitude. Volcanoes have calmed down a little bit. It looks like Subanose-jima is still erupting, producing a 4,000-foot ash plume. Ravenador, 14,000-foot ash plume. Sabancaya, a 27,000-foot ash plume, is not something to fly your homemade hang glider over, or a home-built kit aircraft, ultralight. Congratulations to Louisiana. You've nearly cut your tracked outages in half. Yesterday we're showing about 200,000, now down to about 100,000. Well done. Some high winds watches and some winter weather advisories there in Montana. And I'm jealous if you're in Montana. Leave us a comment if you're viewing from there. What a crazy, awesome place. Here are water vapor maps for all of you African and European viewers. Holla. Here are water vapor maps for you in the Far East and in Oceania. Shout out once again to Eddie Dawkins. Thanks for not producing any more deep quakes by dropping your deadlifts. Here are water vapor maps for the Americas. Here's me checking the life of the stream in the chat. Please leave us a comment if you haven't. Oh my God, SNN is on fire. I used my super breath. Here are the jet streams of the Western world. Here are the jet streams of the Eastern world, and we show these to give people insight at a glance into their weather. If you want us to do a custom weather forecast for you, we'll consider it. Leave us a comment. We might make a video. Just for you. Yeah, for you. Here are the pressure cells on the planet. We're going to forecast this. This is the Euro forecast. We're going to let the Euro forecast play and show you the difference between the Euro forecast at noon tomorrow, my time. And there's the GFS forecast. So some slight differences. European, GFS, European, GFS. And I'm your vanishing host, Dan, aka smAsho. Windy, give me control of my system, thank you. And I like to look at lightningmaps.org when I hear thunder. As we're approaching a solstice, slowly but surely. And we will make a live stream during the solstice, most assuredly. Anyway, there's where lightning is striking right now. Here's a US Doppler radar map. We've got a band of pretty heavy storms there rolling across the northeast. Here's what's going on in the water vapor map. And let's actually look at the Mid-Atlantic region once again. Here's the water vapor map for my locale. By the way, you can't have all three, so consider supporting the channel via our links. We prefer to be in this part. Good and fast, but not cheap. That's where we prefer to be. And since you can't have all three, you certainly don't want to be down here where it's fast and cheap but no good. What part of the range are you in? Our Patreons are good and fast but not cheap. Please consider becoming a Patreon. It's patreon.com/smAsho, the true source of funding for the content. And we do update our credit crawl once per month, usually on the 2nd of the month. So thanks everybody appearing there. We greatly appreciate it. Tell your friends and your foes, your science noobs and your science pros. Also, let them know about our affiliate link. Yes, smAsho.com/affiliate. And you can link to it from the homepage as well. We've got new items on here. So if you're wondering what kind of grips I use on my mountain bike and you're in the market for grips, well, they're Oris. So there you go. And I'll be applying these to my bicycle today. They feature these large blocks, and they come in a variety of colors. I actually got mine in natural. I was not even aware they made them in natural, so I picked that up. Check it out. They're clearish. And they're a little bit of a different viscosity depending on which color you get, in my experience. I've noticed that the red ones that I had before were extremely grippy. We're also featuring the 18-stage shower filter. Now, were you aware that showering in extremely hot showers actually has a higher correlation to lung cancer than smoking? Yeah. Cigarette smoking has a lower correlation to lung cancer than habitually taking hot showers. Why? Because of chlorine and fluoride in the water supply. This 18-stage filter is only $14.39. It's just in line, which means you can just put it up just in between your power head and your output pipe. Super easy. You can change out the filter also. We've been testing it out to make sure it works well, and it indeed does. It's high flow. It doesn't seem to affect the flow of our shower at all. And it is purported to pull both chlorine and fluoride from the water. You can view all that stuff at smAsho.com/affiliate. Please use our links to purchase stuff and help support us that way if you can't otherwise. Thanks for being part of the Smash team. Thanks for flying American Smashways. Today's featured shirt is once again the Blaze Orange Mansa shirt, because if you're going hunting, we don't want you to get taken out, and nothing says don't run me over or shoot me like an orange shirt. Thanks for flying American Smashways. Stay tuned, we've got bonus features, including the 94 angstroms 48-hour SDO video, the colorized magnetogram to show you how there are no sunspots, but a significant plage. And there's the latest on former Sunspot 2775. No more ombre associated with that. And we're getting a view, a little bit of a view of this active region here also. You can see a little bit of a magnetic field there. Right in that region right there, I believe, is where that active region is. Right there. I think that's it. Here's the intensity gram. Let me refresh that. Again, no sunspots visible. I don't see any ombre, and it's too early to see any features on these rising areas. Here's the 94 angstroms view, and we are out. Thanks once again for tuning in. Please share in your social media. If you know an influencer, tell them about our channel. We'd be more than happy to do an interview with whoever, and we're going to actually start a new playlist soon, Interviews with People. And I can't tell you what the inaugural person will be. You may find it very interesting. You may find it very boring. I don't really know. But it'll allow us to take the channel in all kinds of other directions. Anyway, we're out. Stare at the sun, don't drink, and if you do, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back.